I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Music Theory Tuition series where I work with you step by step through the ABRSM Discovering Music Theory grades. I'll work through every single exercise and explain everything you need to know. You can access information about the books I have available to help you on my website. Go to sharonbill.com. For advert-free and longer lessons, you can become a patron at patreon.com/SharonBill. If you can give me a like, that would be super, and please do subscribe to my channel to stay updated. You can support this channel by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/SharonBill. Let's continue on to page 5 of the Grade 3 ABRSM Discovering Music Theory workbook. Moving on to exercise 7, and we're continuing with the topic of rhythm, particularly now looking at demisemiquavers. So exercise 7 asks us to add missing bar lines to each of these melodies. So we need to be careful to make sure we're counting in the correct unit beat, looking at the bottom number, and then we need to make sure that the correct number of beats per bar. And there's quite a lot of busy rhythms, so it's just a matter of kind of diagramming out what's going on. So we should be having 2 crotchet beats per bar. So there's 1 crotchet beat. Now here we know that 3 in the time of 2, so that's 3 demisemiquavers in the time of 2 demisemiquavers, which is the same as 1 semiquaver. And we know that 1, 2, 3, 4 semiquavers is a crotchet beat. And this is confirmed by the fact that it's beamed together to show the start of each new crotchet beat. We know that 4 semiquavers is a crotchet. Semi and semi is a quaver plus a quaver gives us a crotchet. Carrying on, we'll worry about the bar lines in a moment. 3 in the time of 2 demisemis, which is the same as 1 semiquaver. Here's another semiquaver, here's a quaver, so there's 1 beat. There's a crotchet beat, there's a crotchet beat, there's a crotchet beat. So 1, 2, bar line, 1, 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, there we go. And moving on, we're now counting in quaver beats. So we can see we've got 1 quaver beat, 2 semis equals a quaver, 1 quaver, so 1, 2, 3. Might as well just put the bar line in, I guess. Now here we have a quaver. Half of a quaver in this dot is worth a semiquaver. Here we have 3 demisemiquavers in the time of 2 demisemis, which is actually equal to a semiquaver. So the dot and the triplet give us a quaver beat. There's a quaver beat, 1, 2, 3. And actually, this is almost the same again because we've got a quaver. The dot and the triplet give us a quaver. And then we have 2 semiquavers, there's a quaver, dot, so there's the bar line, and then 1, 2, 3. And again, this is confirmed by the fact that in 3/8 we can beam everything together to show the 3 quaver beats. Now we have minim beats to consider. We have 3 minim beats. So quaver, quaver equals crotchet. A crotchet plus a crotchet is a minim, so there's 1 minim beat. There's a minim beat. Now it gets a little bit busy here, so let's just break it down into a crotchet beat. So let's just diagram this out. So there are 8ths. So don't forget this is 3 in the time of 2. So 2 semiquavers equals 1 quaver, so that's half of the crotchet beat. And then we've got a semiquaver, which is a quarter of a crotchet beat. And then the dot is half as much again, so that's an 8th. And there's the remaining 8th. So that's one crotchet beat. There's another crotchet. So all together with this crotchet, there's our minim. So 1, 2, 3. I guess we could put the bar line in now. So here we have a crotchet with 2 quavers making a crotchet. So there's a minim. There's a crotchet with a crotchet. There's a minim. And then here we have another kind of busy rhythm. So we could diagram it like this. So let's try a different way of doing it. We have a semiquaver, and then half of a semiquaver is a demisemi with this next demisemi. So the dot and this note give us a semiquaver. 2 demisemis equals a semiquaver. There's a semiquaver. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a crotchet beat. With this crotchet beat here, there's a minim beat. And then, so there's a bar line. And then 1, 2, 3 to finish. So we've got 1, 2, 3 minim beats, 1, 2, 3 minim beats. That's correct. And now, we now need to count 4 minim beats per bar. So this is a triplet, which is 3 in the time of 2. That's 3 minim beats in the time of 2 minim beats. And then here we have a crotchet. Half of that is a quaver. With this next quaver, that gives us a crotchet. And so all together there's a minim. So we have 1, 2, 3 minim beats. There's our 4th minim beat bar line. Now there's a quaver rest. Quaver rest is crotchet. There's a crotchet. So there's 1 minim beat. Now then, if we get a bit confused, you could always go backwards. So we know there's 1 minim beat. There's 1 minim beat. These are grouped to show a crotchet with a crotchet. So you know that's going to be a minim beat, but let's just work it out. So if we're going to look at a crotchet value, let's just divide this. So we know that a quaver is half of a crotchet beat. There's a semiquaver, which is a quarter. The dot is half as much again, so that's an eighth. And there's our remaining eighth. So we know that that's correct. Let's press on. So now we're looking for 3 crotchet beats per bar. So we can see there's beat 1. Quaver is crotchet. There's beat 2. Now here, let's just sort of pare down what's going on here. We've got a quaver beat here. Then we've got 3 in the time of 2. So let's see here. We have 2 demisemis, which makes 1 semiquaver, with a semiquaver and a semiquaver. 3 semiquavers in the time of 2 semiquavers, which is just 1 quaver. There's our remaining quaver. That shows us that's our crotchet beat. And you can see just beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, bar line. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, bar line. However, let's just check the maths. So we know that's 3 in the time of 2. The fact that that is a quaver rest doesn't change the fact that it's 3 quaver beats in the time of 2 quaver beats, just because one's a rest. So there's 1, 2, 3. And then here we have beat 1. We have 3/4 of a beat and a quarter. There's beat 2. And then half a beat rest, beat 3. Let's continue. Now here we need to find 2 crotchet beats per bar. So we've got 1 crotchet beat there. Now a semiquaver there. Half of a semiquaver is a demisemi. There's another demisemi. So the dot and the demisemiquaver, 2 demisemiquaver beats equals 1 semiquaver. So basically we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 semiquavers, which equals a crotchet. So there's our second beat. 1, 2. Beat 1, beat 2. Quaver rest, quaver note gives us a crotchet. Now we know that 4 demisemiquavers equals a quaver. We know that 2 semiquavers equals a quaver, and it's all beamed to show a crotchet beat. So there's beat 1, there's beat 2, bar line. And this should be correct, let's be sure. So let's just diagram it out into eighths. Here we have a quaver, which is half of this crotchet beat. And then we have a semiquaver, which is a quarter of a crotchet beat. A dot is half of that, so that's an eighth. And here's the demisemi, our remaining eighth. So we can see beat 1, beat 2. Whew, maths. And then finally, we get 3/8, 3 quaver beats per bar. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, bar line. Beat 1, beat 2. And we know that 4 demisemis equals a quaver, so there's our third beat. 2 semiquavers equals a quaver, 1, 2, 3, bar line. So this should be correct. Let's double check it though. There's a quaver beat. Half of that is a semiquaver. 2 demisemis equals a semi. 2 semis gives us a quaver. So there's 1 quaver beat. The dot and those 2 gives a second. There's our third quaver beat. Phew, well done. And now we get the opportunity to write some rhythms of our own making. However, we've got to make sure that we have at least 1 demisemiquaver in either note or rest form and a triplet group. We've got to make sure that we properly fill these bars though. So we have beat 1, 2, 3. We know that 3 demisemis gives us a quaver, and then 2 semiquavers gives us a quaver. So we've got 1 quaver beat to fill here. So I think I'll get the triplet out of the way first of all. So we'll have a semiquaver beamed to 3 demisemis. So all of that and then demisemis, but these 3 are tripleted to make the time of 2 demisemis, which is the same as 1 semiquaver with this semiquaver gives us a quaver beat, not a quaver rest. So now I need to make sure I've got a rest. I think I'll save the rest for the next bar. So let's just keep this one. We've got a rest here already. So beat 1, beat 2, and then let's have 2 demisemis and a semi. Because 2 demisemis adds up to a semi. 2 semis gives us a quaver beat. Now we've got a triplet here. Now we need a rest. So we've done, we've got the demisemi notes, so we need a rest, don't we? So what have we got here? 3 demisemis in the time of 2 demisemis, which is the same as 1 semiquaver with another semiquaver gives us a quaver beat. So we've got 2 quaver beats. Now I think to finish the exercise I'm going to finish on a quaver. We need to finish on a unit beat, I think, otherwise it'll just feel like we've dropped off the edge of the music, won't it? And so we know that 4 demisemis makes 1 quaver, and I shall just make one of those a rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that gives us the right number of beats in that bar. And there we've done everything that we need to do. I hope this is helpful to your studies. Please do like and subscribe to stay updated. If you'd like to support this channel, you can buy me a coffee, and for advert-free lessons you can become a patron. Do visit my website where you'll find many resources available to help you. Visit sharonbill.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.